You clicked on this video because you are probably like 98% of every human being who has to speak publicly, and when you do, you probably get either super nervous or even a little nervous and anywhere in between. And I would love to tell you in the next few minutes that I've got this totally cool, kick-ass, super sexy technique that if you were to impart from now and evermore, you will never be nervous in those situations again. But if I did that, I wouldn't be on YouTube because I've already been filthy rich and I wouldn't have to worry about this stuff. So I'm going to give you two very simple but totally practical approaches for mitigating, not eliminating nerves. I don't think you ever want to eliminate nerves because that means you actually care. So the number one reason why most people will tell me that they don't practice, because that is by far the most critical way of eliminating or mitigating your nerves, is time. I don't have time, I'm scrambling up until the last minute, and I would say that time is a key factor, but probably more than time is people's own self-consciousness. People rarely want to sit in a room by themselves and say the words out loud because admittedly it does feel awkward. So here's what most people do to substitute practice. They review their content, and here's what I mean by that. They pull up their laptop, they look at their slides, and they scroll through them and they go, yep, yeah, sure. They essentially are reviewing their content, and they're deluding themselves that that is a substitute for actual practice. And so up here in Brainland, everything sounds awesome. You're going to be super eloquent, you're going to be Winston Bloody Churchill, and then you get into your meeting or your presentation, and there's this journey between brain and mouth. It's not a long journey, but things can go terribly awry between brain and mouth. And that thing that sounded so good up in your head now sounds like this. Well, thanks again, everybody, for taking the time to come to my meeting today. I know how busy everyone is, and it does not sound confident, inspiring, or impactful. So you need to say the words out loud. Every elite performer practices. If you think of great musicians, if you think of great athletes, no matter what, despite the fact that they're in the 99.9th percentile of humanity, they still practice before they have to perform. Tiger Woods won the Masters this year. I guarantee you on Sunday, he did not just show up and hit his first ball on the first tee. He spent hours on the range, and that is arguably the best golfer in the entire world. So even if you are the Tiger Woods of your profession, you still need to practice. So what does realistic, practical practice look like? I'm going to give you two suggestions. One, practice the very beginning of your presentation, the first 30 to 60 seconds. Two, practice the very end of your presentation, the last 30 to 60 seconds. Why those two things? Because A, if you're going to be nervous, and most of us are, you're apt to be the most nervous right at the beginning. And the end, you're not as nervous, but many times people haven't really thoughtfully considered how they want to end their presentation. They're just so thrilled they made it without any glitches that the end of a lot of presentations sounds something like this. So that's my presentation, and if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them. No, okay, well, thanks. Now here's the cruel irony. The two parts where people feel the most awkward and nervous, the beginning and the end, are the two parts where you're guaranteed to have everyone's undivided attention. The very beginning, you haven't bored, confused, or irritated anyone yet. The very end, you probably said something like, so in conclusion, which signaled to your audience that this thing is almost over, so now they're attentive again. So the very parts where you're guaranteed to have everyone's undivided attention tend to be the most awkward. Tragic irony. So my recommendation, take a minute to practice the beginning, take a minute to practice the end, take another minute to do them both. That is 3 minutes. In 3 minutes time, you will increase your confidence significantly. You'll still be nervous, but you will get through that and no one will even notice. You'll be impactful, you'll be confident, you'll be inspiring, and you'll be credible. Try it and let me know how it goes.